We are live. Holy crap! It brought us in early this time. This is a random party generator. I am the asshole in the loud shirt.
That's a hell of a shirt, Eric. I gotta say. It's
Let me show you my kitty kitty. I
your what?
love kitty. That is my
Everything.
that actually is a unique shirt. That is my cat.
Damn.
Um, yeah, I know. I figured I'd be loud and proud, and wear it tonight. In second chair is none other than Rob Conley.
A little better though.
Uh, Not the Fonz, not the current president of Wizards of the Coast, although they do strike a similar pose.
Do they?
Oh yes. Although his was the headshot of the Fonz. You always saw the Fonz with the collar up.
Yeah, no collar on mine.
Yeah, yeah,
Damn.
and looking like he could be somebody that somebody might decide to be a priest of is none other than Joe the lawyer.
Hello, hello, hello. A priest, yes. I can see the priest of the Church of the Dude. That is a thing, isn't it? Right?
It's a thing.
There is a Church of the Dude. Yeah.
It is. Listen, as somebody who has been ordained online, not there, not in that church, but there is a church of the dude. There is a church of the dude.
Of the dude.
Yep.
If
So
you're
what
not
do you guys
already-
do? How's your week going?
Started a new campaign on Mondays.
Nice, nice. Who's
It's going
in
to
it?
be 5e. Josh and a couple of his friends.
That's cool.
Dave from the an old friend of mine from another group. Or from
In person,
Leadville.
Rob, or in person?
No.
Since you're all no, okay.
No. I'm still a little gun shy with COVID. Getting hit by COVID by 4 times. I'll do the con, but I'll do the 2 cons, but
You're still coming up, right? This winter or this fall, rather, September.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Just every week, that's one couple dice rolls too many there.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Especially with the new variant that I can't get vaccinated against because they haven't come out with the vaccine.
Yeah.
So yeah, and but I got some new stuff to show.
All right.
It's been a cool week. First is Lord of the Rings. This is the 5e version.
Okay.
Moria, Shadow of Khazad.
Oh, all right. How is the Moria map in there? What does it look like, Rob? That's the key.
Oh, the Moria map's pretty darn cool.
Is it realistic or is it just stupid ass dumb? Because I've been looking for a map of like a Moria type thing forever, and I can never find one to steal anywhere. So that's one level, or is it what? What do we got?
Well, you got the side view there,
Yeah.
and then you got the that's I guess the main level.
No wonder Gandalf got lost. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
What a shit.
it's a huge place.
That dwarven one that Gillespie released recently has some pretty interesting mapping, Joe. If you haven't looked at
Wild
it.
Deep, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, but so it's good, but just
No.
be advised, Joe. It's kind of assembled the piece. It's like the Vault of the Drow and the Underworld series, in that he does have some locations, a lot of locations, in fact. But he also had geomorphs and
Oh yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
because it's a sprawling place that he depicts. So just be aware. Oh, and it comes for Kickstarter back. It comes with a night art piece.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We're framing that shit.
So the other thing I have here is actually another Mega Dungeon project, but it is by Gabber Lux,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
KOTOR, King of the Wasteland. It has a Mesopotamian desert vibe, and
We lost it.
no, it comes with if you order it, you get a map pack with my maps in it.
I was just about to remark, Rob, that your background looks far more organized than I've ever seen it, and it figures you can't find what you're looking for because you organized the fuck out of it.
No,
So it's missing.
It blended. If you look at the thing, it camouflaged itself. It's almost the same color as my my desk monitor stand. But no, so one nice thing he does, he includes this packet of maps when you buy it. So, oops, hold on. So some of this is it's not my work. He has a map of the pictorial map of the city. Of course, he's one of the hex crawl guys, so he has a hex crawl map. But then we have my maps that I drew.
Okay.
And I drew it as one huge file, so they're guaranteed to line up if anybody's crazy enough to cut this apart and superimpose everything on top of each other. And I did the cartography version of the city map. So that's available. But I think the last thing you guys would be it's an interesting companion piece to the making of the Dungeons and Dragons conversation we had last time. This time, it's Blackmore Foundation.
Wow.
I've seen some sharing on Twitter about that.
And it has some text. It has some original letters and newsletters. And it also has maps. Like this is supposed to be the original sketch map of the Blackmore region.
Oh, yeah? No shit.
Yep.
The Egg of Coot. Perfect.
And then he did a second version, slightly different. Then this is the version just before he did first fantasy campaign for Judges Guild, and Judges Guild based their map in part on this one. And another version was hold on. No, I got it right. Yeah, here it's subdivided into sub maps with everybody's little domain marked on it, like Swampland, Williams Fort, Creston, where the barbarian picks are listed. The town of Blacksmore. This is a sketch map he made of the outdoor survival map. Kind of, same spirit as the one I did and shared with everybody that was done in Judges Guild style. He made a regional map of the area around Blackmore.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's really, that one looks really
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. That was my favorite so far.
And then he did these more detailed maps, isometric maps of
These are his drawings, Rob? These are actually his drawings? So he's pretty freaking good at that, man.
Yeah, he is. And
You like that banner, Eric?
And this is a copy of the original Dutch map that he used.
Okay. Everybody like that? You like that banner at the bottom there, Eric?
Oh yeah.
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 So then, apparently, he was a bit of an artist too.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty good. He missed his calling.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
He missed his calling. He's kind of artistic,
Yeah, he could have found work doing this stuff. But then it had some more newsletter. So this is another drawing he made. So this book is fairly inexpensive. You can order it from the Fellowship of the Thing. And just like the making of Dungeons and Dragons, is fairly minimalist and focusing on showing the original material. And
cool,
one thing they relate is that Dave They didn't have rules, not even mimeograph. They rarely didn't see the rule. Dave just told them the role all the time. They didn't even see their character sheets. Now, some of them got a hold of their character sheets, especially when they wanted to run their own campaign and asked Dave for advice. But yeah, it was like one of those DMs you heard. He was one of those DMs you heard that kept everything behind the screen.
I did that, Rob. I didn't know that that's what we didn't do. And so I remember first DM in 14, 15, 16, I had all the character sheets in front of me. I had the players in the DM screen in front of me in the dining room table area. And my brother was on the other side. And so I had all the character sheets. I had all the stuff, the maps, everything else behind the screen. And we only had one set of dice. And so I figured that meant I had a roll for him. I didn't, you know what I mean? So I did he just told me what he was going to do. And I did the rolling, I had the sheets. I didn't know any better because I really hadn't played with anybody that much, you know?
You took advantage of your own brother.
I might have cheated a little bit here and there.
I tried that once or twice and I got lazy and gave everything to the players and told them to look the shit up themselves.
Yeah.
You lazy bastard, you. Damn it.
So what we got going on tonight, boys and girls? What'd you do today? Anything fun this week? Anything cool? I was off on vacation. Life is good.
Fun during the week?
Yeah. Well, you're off. You're retired. You should have some fun besides modeling cat shirts for us all.
I
watched cat shirts.
I watched Eric last night be on a podcast that he wasn't in charge of.
Oh my God, that
was hilarious.
What did you do that? The pundit
Don walked off, and Eric didn't have admin control or anything, so he couldn't even end the stream. He just he dropped off. I
finally figured out how to. Like a minute later, I did a little poking around in YouTube Studio, and I found a way to end the stream for me.
Yeah,
I had no idea when Don streamed it.
Oh, no, I was watching it.
10 hours later.
Yeah, you disappeared, and it just kept going. It just kept running. I waited like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I was like, "I'll just turn this off."
Ended at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. It never ended. I just left. Yeah,
that's funny.
Oh my God. Don was feeling good. He just he about half an hour before the live. He texts Tom and I, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm crashing." He goes, "He was up all night running the printing press to get the stuff out that's been waiting forever." He goes, "I got like 3 hours of sleep last night, and it's all coming to bear. Can you guys handle the live stream?" It's like, well, you're gonna have to at least start it off because neither one of us have admin rights. I can restream. But I can't. I can't be like Joe and just inadvertently end the live stream.
End the show. Yeah.
I don't have Joe rights.
That was fucked up. Nobody knew what the hell happened, and it was because I just cleaned all my cookies out or something on a big purge, and then I logged in. I never knew in top of my head, what account I log into this with, my Yahoo or my Gmail. And once upon a time, a couple of years ago, you gave my Gmail account rights to do a live stream because you might not be here that night. And so it turns out you ended up starting it in a cab or something on the way. So I never needed to actually do it. But you gave it to a different email address. So I log into the old email address and I'm like, geez, why does things look so different here? And then I went to go and share with my group and I ended the whole damn show. It's like, God damn it.
I was like, what the hell just happened here?
That was kind of funny, actually. Oh, shit.
There's little bits of news bouncing around. Some relevant, some less not. One that came up, I think I saw something about it today on Facebook, and people just started PMing me about it.
Oh,
WotC apparently is scrubbing credits from D&D Beyond.
Scrubbing credits
from their digital content. So, in other words, if you were somebody who worked on the D&D Beyond version of a book, you were getting credit for whatever work you did.
Yeah.
At least on the D&D Beyond side of the website. Maybe not in the print version of the book. So if you had Rob's book of No More Reach Arounds, and this group worked on it and we wrote it, yes, But whoever put it into like D&D Beyond version.
Yeah, the guy who formatted it put a lot of work in formatting it, making it look nice,
Right.
all the cross references. Yeah, they should get credit.
Screw that guy.
No, they're no longer getting credits. There's a whole thread apparently at N-World.
I wonder why. Money?
Faith Elizabeth. Well, the reason why they weren't being credited in the physical books was the excuse of there's not enough room, but we can give you credit in the digital. But now the digital,
Wait a minute, why would they get credit in the physical book for formatting something online?
I don't know. They wanted it, but they weren't getting it. But now they're getting credit in neither place.
Jesus.
And my suspicion, folks, if you don't like it when I spitball, if you don't like it when I theorize,
we're spitballing. Hot here it comes.
Hold on to your seat, folks. We get a spitball.
Gonna hot tour all of us, man.
I'm not doing that.
You've been waiting to bring that in somehow.
So I've been dying to. Yeah. Yep.
But so I'm gonna spitball and say it could have to do with a prior comment from Chris Cox.
Mm-hmm.
When Chris Cox prior made when he talked a little bit about AI, not AI art, he talked about AI helping him be a better dungeon master by helping him generate content for his at the table game because he runs a game like twice a month. I don't believe it. Yeah. I don't believe it.
I don't think he's ever rolled dice in his life.
But I use AI as an assistant, and just think that at Wizards we control thousands upon thousands of adventures material that can be used by AI to generate adventures.
Choose your own adventure.
Well, yeah, essentially. Well,
not written by a human. No. That's not the appropriate metaphor. It would be downloaded adventure from John John's dungeon generation site, which is amazing, but it's still a randomly generated map and adventure with all that entailed.
Well, and I would go so far to spitball that when the VTT comes out, they are going to, maybe not initially because it's probably not going to release on time. I don't know. There's no release. The Player's Handbook releases next week at Gen Con in limited number.
I heard something about that.
And 750 copies. I thought it was 700. I thought it was 7,500 copies a day. 750 copies a day. I was corrected by Roll for Initiative, so those guys know their shit.
700. They only bring in 750 copies per day.
Per day with a special art plate. Because remember, it doesn't really release until September.
That's going to go down so well.
Oh yeah, it's going to go down. Yeah. But don't worry about it, because I suspect by Monday, Tuesday, somebody's going to have the whole thing scanned.
Completely. Rob will find it somewhere.
But I believe that they are gearing up to the VTT content, having AI-generated material for on-demand game master. Later on, they'll probably have their AI GM, but we'll get to that at some other point. And if you're crediting creators, how you can't credit like this was based on the work of 6 individuals out of the thousands of people whose work we have misappropriated. That view, my opinion, but whose work that we've pushed into this AI machine to generate this totally unique adventure that you're going to love. That's why I suspect we're seeing this now. And you're seeing it now because the mindset is changing between the 2014 D&D and D&D and the 2024 D&D. All the same edition, but it's not compatible at the table. Remember that, folks. It's
what's not compatible at the table?
The rule books themselves. So you can use 2024 with Tasha's Cauldron of Ashes Burning, but you cannot use your 2024 Player's Handbook with a 2014 DMG and a 2020.
Oh God! So I played Dungeons and Dragons, and it was advanced.
I know.
You're just playing basic.
Well, wait
You're
until
not
the
allowed to,
2025
Rob.
version, and then the 2025 version will amend the 2024 version, and then the 2026 version will be even better, and you can pay again. It'll be great.
I mean, I gotta admit,
Keep paying.
when I was in high school, yeah, we snubbed our a lot of folks, including me, maybe snubbed their nose at basic D&D.
Yeah.
And
now we all play it, one version or another of it.
Now we just mismatch everything and see for what it is. It's still fucking 5e.
Yeah.
Well, they're just
you get an epic boon at 20th level now.
They're just creating a new generation of people who realize they have to just make they can't trust WotC to keep it consistent.
Yeah.
They need to make their own amendment. Technically 4E and 2E are compatible in that they deal with ideas, and you can just adapt the ideas in either direction.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not using Wizards of the Coast, that's the thing. Like, so they're just like they screwed up going from 3rd edition to 4th edition. They're going to screw this up again, where it's going to be you're just creating the people who you're going to defect from you. Like, why would you do that? They're just idiots.
Well, Fugly's right.
There's another branch of this particular timeline in that it could wind up like 3.0 to 3.5, where it's because it's still basically 5e, and it will still have that basic 5e, that what was appealing about 5e to these new generation of gamers, but now they'll get all confused because they never experienced an edition change until now.
Right.
So what happened with 3.0 to 3.5 was they just axe 3.0 or anything that's third party.
We're gonna get Pinkertons. Pinkertons are gonna come to this channel, and they are going to arrest you for calling about edition change. Not edition change. You're not allowed to say that. It's the same edition, just a different year. As Professor DM put it, they reworded everything so it looks different, but it's really the same. But it's not compatible because they told you it's not. You better not, because you're gonna wait 6 months to use it. We're gonna give you the player's handbook, but you can't use it till the until Monster Manual comes out next year in February.
But this is a different generation, Rob, than the ones who started playing D&D in the 70s and early 80s, because they're like the, what do you call it? The hovering parent generation, where they trophies for everything. They can't helicopter, right? They can't deal with any change. They can't deal with anything, and so they're going to be getting these books, and they're going to be so broken. Their fragile brains will be so fucking broken by these rule changes and incompatibilities. Things that they see are absolutely crucial.
I can't hear you. I can't quite hear you from your porch on Connecticut.
Yeah, this is what I'm not. Yeah, this is how it is, Rob. This is how they are. I mean, they're idiots. I've seen them.
Because I'm deaf.
No, they're fucking idiots.
It's only Joe. You're probably better off.
By the way,
there are some generational
the 70s and 80s. I'm talking about the 20 and 30-year-olds who were playing 3.0 and 3.5 in the early 2000s. That was my example.
But what I'm talking about is,
and then how I know this, it was thrown in my face when I tried to go around with my Points of Light and Majestic Waterland to local game stores, and to a person that was telling me that unless it was an official WotC 3.5 release, nobody is going to buy it.
And that's what happened, Rob. Look what happened in the store. All the 3.0 shit. You go to Complete Strategist now, and you'll see in a couple months when we go, there's still some 3.0 books there that nobody bought when the 3.5 shit came out. They're sitting on the goddamn shelf. At the original price, you could buy that. I personally, my group never went from 3.0 to 3.5. We never saw the need. We had the 3.0 books. Why buy upgrade for a half a version? It made no sense. But this is effectively an upgrade that's going to break the brains of a whole generation of people who aren't used to this because they're rules followers. They don't know how to break out of the mold and do it their own selves.
Normally, Joe, I'm on your side with the generational thing. Mm-hmm. But this is different. This I see is similar to the birth of the conservative when they get their first paycheck and see how much is coming out in taxes. This is the same kind. I think at the moment when you've spent $120 on books,
Yeah.
and they go, oh, all those books are BS. You have to buy these new books. That is when the home brewer is born, But bow, there he goes. He's right. He does not.
You got a point there. You got a point. But I don't see many of them with the ability to go. I mean, Greg, there's going to be less of a percentage of people who could roll that way than were 25 years ago. Let me put it that way. I think we'd agree on that.
I would agree on that. But I'm saying there is way more support than we ever had growing up for home brewing.
It's absolutely true.
Way more access on the internet. Whereas if I was upset in 1995 with the thing, I couldn't go and find 200 people who had made an alternative way of blending two.
Absolutely.
And 3, but now these people, if they even Google it, they'll find hundreds and hundreds of people who will help them.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying before. I thought the way to play D&D was have all the character sheets behind the screen and roll for everything. You know what I mean? There's no knowledge out there. Believe it or not, when Zach Smith started doing those live videos, and it was the first time I'd ever seen a live streamed game, or it wasn't even live. It was just recorded videos of his games. I'm like, maybe I'm not doing it wrong, because I had no real gauge to measure it by, because I really only played with my small group of people. And it's like, okay, I'm not out of whack in the way I'm doing things, And then we started playing online more and more with the whole flail snails thing, experience different people's DM styles and play styles. And it's like, you become a little bit homogenized, but you do have access to a much greater variety of things.
Well, the difference between today and the transition from 3.3435 is that the third party independents were dominated by 3.0 vendors. Okay. I mean, there were independents doing their own thing, just like there were in the 80s and 90s. But, the 3.0 era saw, like Mongoose, Green Ronin, Goodman Games, and dozens of other outfits that we no longer hear from.
Yep.
But it was really just centered on 3.0.
Yeah.
And then the rug was yanked underneath. But now we have, sure, we're going to have everybody in the DMs guy go, what the hell is happening in my sales after the first 3 months, realizing, oh my God, it's either going to tank their sales or it's not going to make a difference. We're not going to know. It's going to be a unique situation because of all the variety in the different marketplaces.
Right.
Yep.
Well, the whole thing too is like, and Matthias told you, which again tells you it's not as compatible as they claim. Well, yes, you can use your 5th edition 2014 character at the same table with 2024 characters.
Yeah, who's going to do that?
But you wouldn't want to. You'll want to convert.
Yeah.
Well, if I'd want to convert or I wouldn't want to, then you're telling me they're not really compatible. Yes, I can run the older adventures with the new rules, but the balance is apparently changing, or something's changing enough that you're saying I can't mix core books. And if I can't mix core books, what comes out in August at Gen Con is worthless until February of 2025. And
the thing is, they will never release a version that somebody would go, I'd rather play the old character from a power perspective.
Yeah.
They're always going to have a better option in the first. So you're saying you can play your old character. It will just suck compared to it'll be weaker. It'll be, missing these power, missing whatever the thing. And the people are going to go, well, then that's not really,
it's not fun.
Yeah.
You'll be like a henchman to the, and that 2014 fighter is going to be like a henchman to the 2024 fighter, power level wise, probably. You know what I mean? It's just going to be skewed,
So just spitballing, my prediction that the release of the physical books is not going to make a huge difference at first. What's going to happen, what's really going to be, I think it's going to wind up in 5 years, we're going to look at the whole changeover to 2024 as a 4E moment, but it's not going to be the books that do that. It's when they get the BTT up and running and people realize they're not releasing much in the way, they're going to release less physical content than 5E, and 5E was known for not releasing, many stuff. compared to the 3.5 era or the 4E era, and I think that's going to be then it's going to become a 4E moment. When they're just focusing on the VT, I want stuff for my book. And
Well,
they're not supporting
Rob, you're fucked on that because Fugly made a great point. If you scroll up about 10 minutes ago, he says they'll just update the docs online. Yeah, that's what they're going to do online. So that means that the PHB that you have at home, it's after a year or two when they update fixes or add some hot fixes or patches or whatever it is in there, your book at home is going to be useless because it's going to be like 38 updates and patches on the online version of the PHP, and you're sitting there trying to say no, but my fighter should be able to do this. Oh no, that was hot fix 48-2 that was released about 9 months ago. You're behind the times. Throw that book out. Right? It's how it's going to be. They don't care about the books. The books are for us old fucks who maybe play it at the table or something like that, or who like physical books, but it's going to be useless. That's at a certain point. The book you bought is going to be useless after a year because of the hot fixes and updates.
Yeah, and they're going to fall right into the same trap that MMOs do, where they'll make a fix, and then in play, because they're not play testing these fixes.
No.
They're going to release a fix, and then people are going to figure out the new meta is that if you take this, then you do this, and you just add this side effect, then you can do it. So then they'll come and they'll nerf that. And we'll start using the same language that we use for MMOs. This got nerfed, this got bumped, move it out, and then pretty soon, having a physical book doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
that's what they want, but they don't realize that this is something that you can do without them. Unlike an MMO, if I'm playing an MMO and they make an update, I can't just be like, well, fuck this, I'm just going to play at home on my own. Yeah. But you can do that with this medium. So they're just...
just keep in mind, MMOs are not the hot shit anymore.
No.
It's very hard.
They're still around. They're still around, and they're still chugging away. But it's not like it's not like every year we see a new MMO RPG being released.
I think it's an attention span issue. It goes back to my get off my lawn shit I was yelling about before.
I mean, look at the release dates of the physical books. They are in 3 different quarters. So what Hasbro/Monty is doing...
Oh, that's brilliant. I didn't think about that, Eric. That's a great fucking point. Each quarter is going to get a bump artificially.
An artificial bump for the last 2 quarters of 2024 and the first quarter of 2025. I'm going to guess that by the second quarter of 2025, the as yet still unnamed D&D WotC VTT. Can you imagine that the thing that you get your free Red Dragon miniature for your digital game that doesn't even exist yet?
Yeah.
That your free miniature for pre-ordering is for a VTT that isn't even named yet.
When is it going to come out? Do they have a date, Eric, or is there any news on it?
They haven't even named it yet.
Jesus. Well, it's going to be D&D VTT, or whatever. Huh?
So was the preview just a D&D Beyond thing that's a dead end?
No, the previews the previews that they had all the people playing on Alienware laptops on the same table.
I don't know. I'm confused about what the preview. I know D&D Beyond had if you subscribe, has a VTT option, but it's not.
It's not that. It is a 2-dimensional VTT that's not much more than a whiteboard, really. But that's not it. No, this is their 3D animated VTT that's going to have everything integrated into the system. The only thing that's missing is an AI DM at this point, and I believe they will get there.
Yeah. I believe they want to get there, Eric. Yeah. I don't know if they have the capability to get there in our fucking lifetime.
But you see, that is where the money is.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned the quote. I'll put the article in the chat for anybody who wants to play along at home.
I actually have a screenshot of their VTT, Eric, that I found on the internet.
Wait, is this isn't? Oh, geez.
Oh, here we go.
There we go. And it's animated. Go ahead. Is this?
No, it's not animated. I didn't get the gift.
When she pulls the ball away.
Yeah.
Down, you're the Charlie Brown.
Doesn't it look promising though? I mean, you could just run up and kick it. It's
right
there. Work out great.
It's got to be better than all
My
the other.
hope that we can keep Wizards feeling good about themselves just long enough to get the old SRDs under Creative Commons, and then after that, everybody says, you know what, we just don't need them anymore.
I mean, we don't need them anymore now, Rob.
Right.
Right?
I mean,
Yeah, but it would be useful to get out from under the OGL.
I agree with that.
For that old stuff,
Yeah.
mainly because there was a lot of content from back in the day that would be nice to keep around. But yes, if push comes to shove, we can be independent, and we should be independent of anything Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I wish somebody would do an actual robust survey of the industry and see how big stuff really is. I know nobody's as big as Hasbro sales, but collectively, it's got to have grown crazy amount.
well, listen. The only reason why we even know Hasbro sales is that they're a publicly traded company,
Yeah.
and nobody else is a publicly traded company, so nobody else is reporting their numbers, and you're not going to hear it. Honestly, you're not, because and now here's the other thing, folks. Remember, Hasbro is a publicly traded company. They don't serve you. They're not here to make the players happy. They are here to make their investors happy,
Yep.
to make their stockholders happy. And
In fact, they're legally mandated to ensure that every dollar of expense they have is spent on items that return the maximum amount.
Mm-hmm. They get investor lawsuits against them if they don't. So yeah.
And the investors will actually win if it's that egregious.
Mm-hmm.
So the article about Hasbro, and I'll really this I'll bring up this one part for the screen because I think this is what is relevant. CEO Chris Cox said during the company's earnings call that it continues to invest in its digital gaming portfolio. Now remember, digital gaming is part of Wizards of the Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's in charge of Wizards gets the digital gaming shit. Highlighting the recent appointment of John Haidt, Fonzarelli Light, as president of Wizards of the Coast and Digital Gaming. Comes from Blizzard. By the way, as a side note, another video, Blizzard's 500 plus employees have unionized. It's the future I believe the goal, by the way, the CWA, the parent union, is to unionize WotC's. WotC has a lot of employers and they're digital. I get to test me on this one. They're going to be getting unionized. But between our board move and talent we brought on board, most recently with John, we're going all in on becoming a digital play company. Why would that be? Because that's where the money is. And with digital, once you have your digital product, you don't have the overhead of printing, storing, shipping. So I've heard people, not coming from me, but it could make sense on some level, that they believe within 2 years everything from WotC is going to be print on demand. I don't know that. I wouldn't be surprised, but I would know that.
The other thing too, you're talking before, I think Greg was saying it about they're going to be able to throw hot fixes out and it's going to be nerfed and broken and it's going to be constantly adjusted in real time. They're not even going to be looking for player input on that because they're just going to have the ability to see what players are now picking instead of the old things. You know what I mean? Oh, all of a sudden, nobody's taking feet X, they're taking feet Z. Why is that? Oh, because it must be overpowered. Let's examine why. You know what I mean? They're going to have that minutia level detail. And so it's going to be so bland. I predict it's probably going to be something like, remember how 4E had, no matter what class you were, you had an attack that did the same fucking damage every fucking round. Remember how that vanilla, completely vanilla, where you're never going to get uniqueness because people are going to bitch and gripe so much online, and you could find out, what's causing the issues and just vanillify the whole fucking thing, I think that's what you're going to have the ability to do that really fast. One programmer.
I think I've mentioned this like a long time ago, but there's this really interesting case of it's not TikTok, but some kind of app like that, where they had an AI that they wanted to stop bullying. And so they told the AI to examine everything and come up with recommendations to stop bullying. And the AI did this where it came back, and the recommendation was, if you can identify the people that are going to be bullied, ban them preemptively, because there's way more bullies. So the most efficient use of your time is to come up with an algorithm that will predict who will be bullied, and then just plink those people off the platform so they won't be bullied. I feel like that's the thing. Like, WotC has these like ways of thinking that run counter to the way you would actually do it, but it's going to make sense from their logic of how they're going to do something, and they're going to implement these things and be like, this is the right way to do it. The right way to solve the problem of all these powers being hard to balance is to make them the same. The way this feat is special and unique, let's get rid of that, so that it doesn't seem different. Like that's what they're going to do. Like, their logic is so fucked up.
It is
that they will pick it the wrong way to solve the problem. Rather than go, we need 10 more feats like this that are just weird, so the people don't even know what to pick. No. We're gonna make it so that it's all the same, and then you can't pick because of the sameness.
Every feat, every class have a different named feat, but it all gives +1 to something. Right. Yep. But it's like, the same fucking thing. You get +1 the same fucking thing. It'll be, Sentinel's Watch for a ranger, and Fighter's Alacrity for a fighter, but +1 to hit. Right. It's going to be that bullshit, I think.
And all races will be half tiefling. And they'll get +1 to one thing. And that'll be it. Yeah. It's just nothing will be different. I mean, they shared with that. I saw the image going around earlier in the week of the race information that they dropped. And like, there was a table of 7 characters, and 5 of them were tieflings.
Jesus.
It's like, what kind of racial options are you adding? Like, it's nuts.
Bad Mike. Wizards of the Coast, eliminating fun for a decade. That's fucking well said, man.
5e is too successful. How can we lower the success level of 5e? I know. Let's just rewrite it but not call it a new edition.
Yeah. Patrice has a good fucking point there. Patrice, I don't see how they can implement limited wish and wish in a VTT. You're right. All those things that call for DM discretion, how are you going to handle that in a VTT setting with an AI DM?
That they reproduce lower order effects. Wish,
that's all it's going to be. Yeah.
All you have to do is memorize wish, and then you can turn wish as a fungible device into anything else that you need. That's what it's going to be. They're going to get rid of. They're going to get rid of asking for anything, and it's just going to be you can replicate any other effect.
Yeah, it'll be DM discretion gone. It's this. So by default, then, if they're leaning toward AI DMing, and they're going to put those rules in place that only support AI DMs in the future, that means the DM, even in the book or before they even have an AI DM, the DM will have very, very little power. It's going to be a player power focused game. There has to be. Right, if they're going to start laying out the groundwork for fucking AIDM in the future.
Well, I will remind everybody we have trotted this road before, because D&D 4E was optimized for organized play.
Yeah,
and these are the same even though organized play is primary pen and paper, it still has the same pressure of fairness and balance that the BTT is going to have.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's going to end just as 4E did. It's going to be it's going to be popular for a little bit. It's going to be the hot shit, but it's not going to have legs because the lack of variety, as Greg mentioned.
Yep. Well, it's going to be terrible.
I mean, listen, Rob brought up a good point that MMOs are essentially, they've already peaked. They're on the lower ebb, and WotC is hoping that this is some kind of weird hybrid that they're going to be able to bring up, where we're going to mix tabletop RPGs with an MMO, and we're going to get the great subscription microtransaction monetize the whole party, but still bring the fun of tabletop RPGs to the virtual tabletop. Everything but the sticky fingers from your Cheetos and spilling your Mountain Dew on your table. You can get it all, but it doesn't work that way. And I've told other people this too. Listen, if you watch this show, the Random Party Generator, you watch us interact. It's why we are a successful gaming group. Okay, why even though we don't sit at a physical table, it feels very much like sitting at a physical table because we have a certain legitimate feel of friendship and ball busting and everything else that goes along with an effective gaming group. But the reality is, when you play an MMO, it's often like, oh, I got a pickup group. Well, if you're going to be playing D&D like a pickup group, it's not going to feel like it is at your home table.
Yeah,
It's not going to what's going to bring people back. I never wanted to play an MMO to be in a pickup group. I wanted to be an MMO to play with my old gaming group.
Your guild members, yeah, exactly.
I didn't want to play with a bunch of strangers. If I was going to do that, I'd rather solo. And I think that this is a lot of what's going to shake out with the VTT when they are looking at 4 of us on the screen. Usually we have a gaming group of 5 or 6 plus a GM. Right now, WotC is crying these little fucking bullshit tears. Oh, woe is us. We are so under-monetized with the D&D brand because only the DM actually spends any money, and it isn't even always on us. It's often on a third party, but only the DM is monetized because the players only got to buy the player's handbook, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, maybe Tasha has got stuff that's needed for their character. I don't know. But here's the reality. They think that they're going to monetize all these people by bringing them to a VTT.
Yeah.
They're going to get the D&D Beyond subscription, a VTT subscription, microtransactions. And we know there's microtransactions. They gave that up with that little faux fucking Red Dragon mini bonus shit. If you can get specialized stuff in your D&D game on a VTT, it means that you can buy specialized stuff for your. Oh, I want the Gold Dragon mini.
Yeah, or the armor, the special gold armor. You want, you know what I mean? It's like little things like that. I'm notorious for that. When we played my brother, for a while, we would jump into D&D online, DDO. Like, and it became a holiday thing. Like around Thanksgiving or whatever, Christmas, we'd take a few days, we'd log in, we'd resurrect our characters at, down the first level, and we'd fuck around for 8-10 hours. But I always, even though I knew I was playing for a short, like a weekend of DDO, a weekend, I would drop $30 in cool looking gear because it was there and it was fun, right? And they got $30 extra out of me for that and the 1 month subscription, right? So yeah, it's like people are gonna buy that shit because everybody wants to be unique. And oh my God, are the non-binary haircut kind of things gonna go, and purple hair and pink hair and piercings and tattoos and all that kind of stuff? You know what I mean?
There's another trend in gaming that I don't think you guys are aware of. That what's very while there's not a whole lot of MMORPGs, what there are is a lot of multiplayer survival games. We're talking Valheim. The one I'm playing right now, Paxdia, Minecraft, Rust, and while some of them look like kind of like an MMORPG, they're all tweaks, and some of them do have things you can buy, like Paxdia. You can buy plots of land in which you can build, and you can buy up to 4 in the early access to build a big castle, which regrettably or not so regrettably I have, because I'm really enjoying the hell out of it. And it's a beautiful game. But 7 Days to Die. So I think that's what Wizard is. Wizard is not really looking for MMORPG. They're probably well aware that model is kind of peak. What they're looking on is like Ark Survival Evolved those kind of games that manage to forge ahead, come up with something new.
I think you're
that
giving it
caught
too
on.
much. You're giving them credit for too much brains, Rob. I think they just say, "Ooh, players can buy a sword, and it'll be purple."
Oh, hold on.
And
What I just said, Joe, doesn't require much brain to speak of. You just need to read up what's happening in the gaming world. Where it takes brain, Joe,
is
is
the
to
implementation.
it's executed
That's what I mean.
well.
Yeah, they're
And
never going to be able
Hasbro,
to implement it.
notoriously, regardless of what they tried to do,
Yeah,
notoriously has failed at all their
exactly,
software projects. Not just
exactly.
Wizards, Hasbro. Turn any of their popular board games into something that's playable on a tablet or stuff like that. They have they have failed time and time again.
You know,
Well,
Mike is making a
Monopoly
point there. Oh, go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead, Eric.
Monopoly Go is apparently very profitable, but the only one.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah. But Bad Mike has a point there. He says old school conventions need to keep spreading the word and the joy of in person
Yes.
play. That made me think of something. Now you got these butt munches who really don't have much experience other than the new Wizards of the Coast D&D VTT, and they think that that's what Dungeons and Dragons is, right? And so someday they're going to go to a convention and actually hold real dice in their hands and not understand how to play actual fucking D&D because it won't make any sense. The pen and paper game, there's going to be a break point between the audience for pen and paper games in person in conventions or game stores and the VTT people. There's going to be a break point where they won't relate anymore because there'll be too many weirdnesses, 10 years.
Okay, so Joe, I have a LARP story about that. So that is not going to be. It's going to happen, but it's not going to be the thing as you think it is. What happened was, I with a bunch of other people from Meadville founded our independent LARP chapter, a LARP chapter of our own, independent of one in Pittsburgh, and this was the time when World of Warcraft was first and EverQuest was first hitting its stride. And we had this camp by Lake Erie, and it had a dramatic cliffside made out of sand, and very beautiful, and the sunset right over the lake, and it was very nice. So I was there at an event,
Sounds
and I
romantic.
had a 20-year-old kid. That we're all at the fence looking at this beautiful sunset, and this kid says, "Wow, this is just like in EverQuest."
That exactly.
Everybody turned to him and just mocked the shit out of him.
That's
even the
exactly
young
it.
people.
Yep. My friend Kurt,
And
one
so-
time we logged in one time, and Kurt's character was he had a druid, and he's sitting on a hill, and we're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He goes, "I'm looking at the sunset." And half of it because I'm a druid and I just want to be weird, but the other half was like, "Oh, what a nice picture." I'm like, "Jesus fucking Christ, go outside! You'll feel the grass, motherfucker." Oh, shit.
But
Yeah.
it's the thing is that what also Wizards is leaving on the table is the whole reason why 5e was so popular again, because why board games, Euro games are enjoying their golden age, because there is a large segment, not as large as video games or computer games, but a significant segment of people now are looking for the in-person experience of playing actual board games. But they also want to play it online if they so for the time they can't join up in person. So like Axis and Allies. People will play Axis and Allies in the game store with people. People will play Axis and Allies online.
It's the same game. I mean, whether that's an easy game to transfer over, but D&D, the version online versus D&D in person, where the DM actually has discretion to, rule on things, versus online where AI DM says this is the same answer every time in the same situation, no matter what. You're going to be expecting that AI DM answer when you're at the table.
Specifically, you're talking about what Hasbro is thinking of doing. We already solved the problem of playing online with the VTT.
Exactly. But my point, that's my point, Rob. But that's what I'm trying to say. If Hasbro is successful in implementing an AIDM, that is the break point between VTT players and in-person players, and never the two shall meet again. It's a different way of thinking. They're not going to be used to this.
I think it's going to happen earlier with the VTT itself.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean about never meeting again, Joe. I mean, like,
it'll be a hard transition.
Yeah,
right?
It will be if we rely on Wizards of the Coast marketing, but I just don't. I mean, like, we have had way more success with other properties. I mean, Shadow Dark is a good example.
Yeah.
There's a lot of others
Mhm.
there's a lot more activity away from these this way of doing things, and
Mhm.
we've never had a better opportunity to talk directly to people before, like we already said. Like there's so many opportunities for people to share. My son is about to start high school. Everything that I've taught him about D&D, so to,
Mhm.
for RPGs in general, is now going to be, if he talks to any of his friends, if he talk, it's going to
Yeah.
spread out there. Like I've showed some of his friends the Shadow Dark books, some of my books.
Mhm.
I've showed them, what RPG. My son talks to me. Yeah, he knows what it is. So it's like we've never had more connectivity outside of official marketing channels.
But I guess, Greg, Shadow Dark isn't bringing people into the RPG hobby. Shadow Dark is where people go
You don't
once
know
they've
that,
gotten.
Joe. You
Yeah,
don't know that.
Rob,
You don't
I'm not-
know that, Joe.
Rob, I'm saying in general, overall, what brings people into the RPG hobby? It's D&D. It's not the weird ass little games like Shadow Dark.
Okay.
That's
Hold on.
what I'm trying to say.
Everything-
It's an old way of thinking, Joe.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
I
think it's
agree
going to
with
change?
Greg. Everything is going to bring everybody. It's going to bring people to the hobby because there is no. It's not okay. Back in the 90s, the 80s, what you had is a game store, and you only had 5 feet of shelf space, or 50, or in the case of
Mm-hmm.
complete strategy, you only had 200 feet of shelf space. So at some point, you can't squeeze any more games, and somebody's going to lose out. We have infinite shelf space, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
Hmm.
are some things going to be more popular, but it isn't going to matter to the people in the low rung because they can still recruit people in and they can still grow because there's always because it's
All right.
By far, D&D is
By
the thing
far.
that will always drive people into the hobby. Period.
Right.
By far,
No-
it'll always be.
Anybody going to drive-through or itch.io is because they got introduced to gaming.
Bingo.
They didn't find it on their own. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll expand. Once people get a touch, then they can go and find the infinite options. But the majority,
It's almost
even
like you
Wizards
guys
in
never
their,
heard of
in,
Vampire the Masquerade.
oh no, I
And that was
haven't,
and that was
I
in the
own it.
90s.
I
There's
know.
definitely
But
other avenues.
I'm not saying they weren't, but that was almost cult-like.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Today, when you go to Target or you go to Walmart, what is the one RPG that you can find?
Yeah, but
D&D.
increasingly, Eric, I'm not saying you're not right, but increasingly that's going to be like when you go to Best Buy, what video games do you see on the shelf? Yeah, at some point that stops mattering.
yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point about video game. It used to be you go to Best Buy, you used to go that game store. What's it called?
GameStop.
GameStop. It used to be. Now they are still a thing, but Steam dominates them all, and it's not just it's just not how Steam dominates. It's like you do a Google search, and likely you find the game's link to its Steam storefront. So it's not as important as it used to be. So that way, so now
Right.
these days we have independent weird ass games flaring up, becoming suddenly
I
popular.
certainly I'm gonna give you that. But here's the thing: when you're playing your video games, when you're playing your computer games, these are all solo games for the most part, right? I can go to
Mhm.
Steam and find a game I'm going to play at my computer, or I can go on my Xbox and order a game that I'm going to play, maybe with my wife. But generally speaking, you get introduced to RPGs through other players.
Bingo.
But Eric,
Not,
did you
what?
get introduced to music by major record labels? Because that is also no longer a thing. That's my point. Is we keep thinking that it's going to be like the way it was from a distribution standpoint, and it's just not.
No,
It's not. The
it's gonna
iPod
be
came along and wrecked the music industry like a hardest kick you could ever get in the nuts.
Actually,
You-
LimeWire and
yeah,
whatever came
look at-
before that
yeah,
did it.
Look at what Netflix has done to video distribution. Look what we're in a revolutionary moment. The idea that we need Wizards of the Coast to bring people into the hobby—that's just short-sightedness. I mean, I cannot subscribe to that, man.
I
There's
I
so
can't
many
subscribe
other
to it
options.
either.
I do.
listen, if Wizards of the Coast wasn't around, certainly something else would fill that role.
Mm-hmm.
Wizards, and I'm going to, here, I'm not a professional, but I will pull a number out of my ass. I'm going to guess that even today, and I'll lowball it, 4 out of 5 RPG players were introduced, if they were introduced to gaming in the last 10 years, came in because of D&D. And the ones that
Bingo.
didn't came in because of Pathfinder. United States only. You
Yeah.
go to Europe, it's different games that might be holding that position. Now, I would think that those numbers could change very drastically and very quickly if WotC decided to no longer publish D&D, but to license out the rights like Games Workshop does with Warhammer Roleplay and 40K, the RPGs.
But
Because
okay, Eric. But how did those? Okay, let's just say you're right. It's 4 out of 5 players. 80% of people getting gaming do so from Dungeons and Dragons. Today, in the 2020, how do you think those people know about D&D in the first place? Because they saw it online. There's a news story every so often. You see something percolate on their feed about a Dungeons and Dragons thing. Maybe because Dungeons and Dragons is still relatively niche. We're talking about
they were watching live play on fucking YouTube. All these
Yeah, Critical Role.
Critical Role and shit like that.
Sure.
Are what's bringing in the new players. And
now here's the thing. They don't just stop at the top search results. They don't stop at the top. They say, "Oh, what's this Dungeons and Dragons?" They type that in. Then they'll scroll maybe 1 or 2 more pages more only, but then they'll start seeing other things. And out of those people, now we got other people looking at, hey, there's Shadow Dark, there's Savage World, there's stuff. So the thing is that it's just a hop and a skip to get to any one of us in the industry right now compared to the way it used to be in the 90s. So now it's expanding for everybody.
But Rob, D&D is the word band-aid. D&D is Kleenex for instead of tissue, Band-Aid instead of bandages. It's the phrase people associate with everything that geek related dice and pen and paper and role playing. And so they're going to be wanting, hey, let me try this D&D thing. Even though they saw their friend playing Pathfinder or some other nonsense, they're going to be D&D, right? It's that. It's all D&D.
So what, Joe? That doesn't
That's
mean
what's
they can't find Shadow Dark.
It means they're gonna find D&D when they search for D&D and start playing D&D, and then maybe they find Shadow Dark later.
Are you arguing that Xerox is the only one running copies though? Because everybody gets introduced to copying by Xerox.
No, but
people learn how to sneeze. But
Greg, people don't buy Xerox machines. At least nobody I know is wealthy enough. But people do buy Kleenex, Band-Aids, and D&D books. A whole different animal, but I still call it Xeroxing something.
I think that we are missing the forest for the trees, because if you're on this screen right now talking about this, or if you're somebody who's listening to us or watching us talk about this, you're like the 1%ers. All right. The when the OGL fiasco went down, how much of the gaming community that wasn't online knew about it?
9 people.
I mean, honestly,
my kid knew it. My kid knew about it before I mentioned. He saw it. He saw it as a random news story.
All right.
Oh, and his comment was, "Oh, they're having some kind of trouble in. They're having some kind of trouble in your game, Dad." Yeah,
we assume, because we are as wired in as we are, that others are as wired in as we are. Understand what's going on. I don't
need Greg a little credit, Eric. We talk to people who are not role players and see.
I talk to people that aren't role players, and I say I'm going to a gaming convention. They go, "Oh, poker or blackjack?"
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and here's the thing: the vast majority of players don't go to conventions, and the vast majority of players aren't online. Yep. WotC's going to learn it. It's a horrible lesson, by the way. They're going to lose if they pivot toward digital. They must know that they have to pick up more gamers than they're going to lose, because they are going to lose people. And they're not going to leave gaming. They're going to leave for other systems. They're going to leave for Shadow Dark, OSE, Call of Cthulhu, RuneQuest, Pathfinder, because these are companies that are going to still be saying, "Hey, the person playing at the tabletop, virtual or otherwise, is the person that I want to prioritize. Whereas Wizards is going to be pivoting to how do I get recurring subscriptions? And those players that are willing to do it are the ones that are already doing it from MMOs and other sort of ways. Then they know that they're going to peel off a lot of us. They understand that. They understand that. I think in 5 years, D&D is not going to be the entry drug to RPGs. And WotC be fine with that because they'll have the $1 billion IP that's making money through recurring subscriptions with the lower player base. They don't care. The only number that matters is colored green. So it's not the number of players. That's a pissing contest. They don't care about that. The only contest they worry about is profits. We've already discussed that. That's what their mandate is, to make the maximum profit. So if we're having this conversation in 2029, it's likely that, I don't know, Goodman with DCC or Pathfinder has resurged with Pathfinder 3.0 and is now the entrance drug for these people coming into the hobby. Because Wizards is not going to be looking to pick up people that are traditional tabletop players. They are going to be looking to transition players who are already paying subscriptions to play their MMOs to play on D&D.
Okay, that's all well and good, Eric, and I agree with you. But I'm telling you, none of that matters to us today. That's not the problem we are dealing with. The problem that me and Greg are dealing with in our releases is the fact there's over 100 titles debuting every week. I don't give a shit what they do in Seattle. That doesn't impact what I do one whit.
So Rob, that's the thing. You're having two different conversations. Joe and I are having one conversation, and you and Greg are having a separate conversation.
I blame the weed and wine.
I think that, Rob just chose to rebut it in that way. I think you guys are just assuming that the thing is not going to be disrupted by somebody outside. It's going to be disrupted. It's going to be changed by WotC failing. Both of which can happen simultaneously. So, like Malcolm Gladwell has a great TED talk on how things change, and he uses the example of ice. I think it's really useful. So, a long time ago, there were guys who pulled ice out of ponds. They cut it out, right, and they transported it. They had no incentive to innovate to make ice boxes in your home because that was how they made their money, cutting it out of the pond. Somebody else comes along and says, I'm going to make an ice box that you can have in your home, and I'm going to deliver the ice to you, and you put it in this ice box. And say, okay, that guy innovated. He wiped out the people who were doing it before, right? And then somebody came along and said, what if I have a device that you don't even have to be delivered ice? Your refrigerator can just make your own ice for you. Like, at all those steps, it wasn't the person who was existing market leader who made the innovations and changed, right? So it's the guy coming from the outside. So yes, WotC is falling on their dick. That's no one disputes that, but they aren't the ones that are going to take it. They're not the next iPod that's going to crush the record industry. They're not the Amazon.com that's going to crush Best Buy, right? Like it's not going to happen that way. They're not going to become the next Steam. They're the antiquated technology. So you guys are focused on what they're doing. I don't care what they're doing anymore. Like, people are moving beyond them.
But we're talking new people, Greg. New people coming into the hobby in a few years are going to be looking at this as that's D&D.
Right.
That's my point. That they're going to look for what is D&D. I want to play this D&D game. And they're going to, Google it or whatever, and they're going to say, "Oh, D&D. Click on this link. There it is. That's D&D." If they look as Rob says, you get 100 new releases every day, and so what you have if you don't go with D&D, which is the thing everybody kind of knows and figures is the thing, you're gonna look at 300 different RPGs, all with subcatalogs of products for these things. One called Shadowdark, one called Swords and Wizardry, one called Labyrinth Orb, one called Old School Essentials. And you're like, well, what the fuck is all this? I just want to play D&D. And then you go right to D&D, right? They're going to be too fucking confused. They'll still be the gateway drug for a long time, I think.
Which means what?
which means it goes to prove the point that I was trying to say before is that D&D is still going to be the gateway to get people into the RPG hobby for a very long time.
Which
And
means
there will
what
be
for me as a publisher of my material? What does that mean for me?
I don't know. I don't fucking care. All I'm trying to get, I don't even, you're on a whole different point. All I'm trying to say is that it's still going to be the gateway drug. It's still going to be the thing that brings everybody to the hobby.
All right. So listen, this pie chart is from December 20, well, third quarter 2023. At least it was published in. This is saying that 54% of the games on Roll20 are labeled as 5e. Uncharacterized and all others, so uncharacterized could be whatever. But no one game system was pulling more than 3%. Now, if you're a publisher and you're looking to publish for money and you're looking at it purely as a monetary point of view, you're going to go, well, the greatest bucket to aim for is 5e. It's also the greatest bucket with competition because everybody is saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think you misspoke there. I think you meant to say D&D 2014. Isn't that what you meant to say?
I know. I know. It's no longer just 5e.
Yeah.
D&D next, not D&D forever. Sorry.
Okay, so
how about D&D before? It'll be D&D before and D&D next.
all right. Well, that brings up a related topic. Then here's the thing: if that volume number only means if volume matters to the kind of project you're trying to publish.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that happened in the last 15 years that the cost of publishing has plummeted dramatically.
Yes, definitely.
Yep.
So I don't need 1,000 customers to break even or to make a really healthy profit. Okay, I just need the couple hundred that I got on my last Kickstarter to really to build up a nice set of funds to pay me some money to pay the third party people that I for well, thanks Joe. I still appreciate your editing, although I still think I should have paid you for it.
That's all right.
But pay the art, which I did pay for, and have enough left over to save up for the next project. And so my what I need to spend to do what I do is a lot less than it would be in the 1990s. So I don't need to worry about that 54% of the gamers who are playing D&D 5e. So I just need to worry about how to stand out among everybody who's releasing everything.
Which is what Bad Mike is saying. Rob, it means you need to create a brand.
Yeah.
Good examples are Goodman and DCC, Greg Gillespie and his Mega Dungeons, Polanyi and Hyperborea, Shadow Dark is a brand now, OSC is a brand.
Joe Blocks.
But what? Yes, I realize that. But what I'm saying is, well, however you think about it, whether it's creating a brand or getting your name out there, however you think you approach it, what Wizards does for the next 5 years is not going to change that equation for me.
Well,
I still have to do the same type of work that to create a brand.
Well, here's the thing: Wizards is going to. Wizards historically has been the gateway drug to RPGs, just by pure size of it. But and Greg has a point. We're going to have to see another company step up to be the gateway drug to tabletop RPGs because Wizards is willingly and happily pivoting away from tabletop RPGs to its virtual and digital platforms. So when that pivot happens, who's going to be positioned to pick that up? Is it going to be Goodman? Is it going to be Paizo? I think Paizo's already had its time in the sun.
Yeah, they're done. They don't have it anymore.
I agree. There's going to be somebody who sells the most RPG in the traditional pen and paper market, but they are not going to matter either. None of it's going to matter who's the leader. It's just a numbers game. If you want to do print runs, if you want to occupy those short shelf, sure, it matters. It matters a lot because you're going to be trying to convince game store owners. You're going to try to be convincing vendors at conventions to stock your ware to occupy limited physical real estate for your book. In that case, it's absolutely a matter that you are occupied that 54% position. But if you're somebody like me or Greg, who primarily sells through the internet using print on demand for the physical product, uh, uh, our problem is a completely different story. We
Well,
don't care who's the leader.
in a way, you are going to go
Let
ahead,
me
Greg.
throw in another example here. It might be that D&D is the Betty Crocker cookbook, but we have the distribution now to where even if they are the main #1 cookbook, there's so many other cookbooks that people with their recipes on their blogs, people with that the idea that they're the recipe source is over. It may have been back in the 80s when you had limited printing capacity, right? But now it doesn't matter. Even if you're the largest share of the cookbook market, the cookbooking is out of your control now, right? Like it's out there in the market. Millions of people. Wizards of the Coast makes what, like on a good year, 10, 12 books that they release, right? Like how many products are moving through drive-through every day? Like that's what I'm saying. Like they're getting swamped. We're talking about CNN's ratings while Joe Rogan's bringing in more viewers per episode than their entire network. You're
Yep.
like, yes, maybe that's the brand name, but the new producers are in such enormous volume. I mean, like my mom does quilting. There's no monopoly on the quilting market. You could get quilt patterns 4 million times a day, like off the internet. Like it doesn't matter. There's no way. So the idea now, like from me and Rob's perspective, I think we're agreed on this. I don't need to have Wizards of the Coast distribution. I'm fine with. I'm having the best month this month in July that I've ever had for Chubby Funster. I have sold almost twice as much product as an average month. It's incredible. Like things are moving. Like I'm happy with that. I'll be happy with that even if it was at this level forever, but I don't think it will be. But I don't need to bring in Wizards of the Coast.
The difference,
revenue.
though, Greg, is that for you and Rob, people already need to be into the. I think this is the breakdown of what we're having because Tim is saying we're talking two different fucking things. We started this conversation, as Eric said, talking about who brings what people into the hobby, and I think me and Eric are in agreement that Wizards of the Coast D&D is the big thing, is the big Band-Aid, the Kleenex that brings people into the hobby. Now I think we're all in agreement that the VTT will eventually fail. That means less people will be brought into the hobby. Will something come up and be the thing that brings people in? I don't know. You guys are saying I don't give a shit because I got my stuff is selling really good right now. And my point on all that is that that's because people got brought into the hobby through D&D, said fuck D&D, and started looking for other shit, and they found your stuff. When there's less people brought into the hobby because Wizards of the Coast sucks ass, and or they just focus on VTTs, and all those people kind of stay there, and not really many people leave and get into the pen and paper world or the drive-through RPG world, you are going to get less sales because less people will have been brought into the hobby to even experience your shit.
Well, you bring up a good point. And I would say that Dungeons and Dragons and RPGs as a whole, if Wizards totally upend, you're still going to be able to Google Dungeons and Dragons. You're still going to encounter the tournament of role-playing games, and that's still going to lead to people to searching for what's this role-playing games, this general category. And there'll still be new people entering the hobby because of the power of the internet. Okay.
Yep, they look for D&D and they log in and they see a VTT.
Okay. So what? They're going to still look up role-playing games, and that's not going to be a VTT-oriented term.
They're going to look up D&D, Rob. People. That's what I'm saying. D&D is role-playing games to people.
What I'm saying is they're going to see the VTT and role-playing games.
Is there any dispute that the hobby will suffer an influx of people when Wizards of the Coast fails with their VTT? Can we at least agree on that?
No, because
I say we don't know what's
bringing in
gonna happen.
positive value right now. Nobody's coming into the hobby for Wizards VTT today. So how could it go down if they fail?
They're coming in because of D&D 5e right now.
Right.
Yeah, and D&D 5e will still exist after they've failed at this.
But it won't. But it won't be. Listen, we've all seen the dead system effect, right?
Yeah.
When you have to pivot from, and that's the reason why Wizards is so afraid to call 2024 a new edition of D&D, even though they tell you can't mix the books at the table. It's kind of like Ghostbusters. Don't cross the streams, or you cause an explosion. It's a similar thing, because when you change editions, you have that dumped beforehand, which is what they were trying to avoid, right? That fallow ground in between editions, which they saw from going from 4 to 5, was dead world. So they didn't want that to happen going from 5 to 6. So they couldn't call the new edition. So they're trying to avoid that aspect. But reality is, when the new books come out, and when people realize that your material, your character, you can play the old adventures, but you can't use your old characters because they're not compatible. They're underpowered. People will either some will stop playing, some will just continue to play 5e. A lot of them will just do what a lot of us did, and you transition and whatever because you the current edition. There is this mindset that you can only play the living edition of Pathfinder, of D&D, of whatever. We don't agree with it because we play dead game systems or systems that are recreated and cloned. So for us, that's irrelevant. But WotC understands that because that's why they wouldn't call it a new edition. That's why they were insistent. We're not changing editions. No, don't say that.
Yeah, they're scared of it.
Well, this could indeed be the fate of 5e. We'll see how it plays out. The reason the OSR escaped this dead edition thing is because, so we had in 2008 we had two things happen. We had the OSR, with Osric and Basic Fantasy crystallizing the OSR
and blogs,
and then we had Pazio with Pathfinder. Now, the OSR just kept growing and diversifying, and is still going strong with OSE and Shadow Dark and my stuff, Greg's stuff, everybody's stuff. Pazio, on the other hand, showed how it could have gone, in that Pazio continues to dominate their niche.
I just got one point of order. It's Paizo. Whenever you say Pazio, it's like Eric saying Zine. It's like nails on the chalkboard to my head. It's Paizo, motherfucker. All right, continue.
You don't like Mac?
All right, Paizo. So you have Paizo, but they continue to dominate Pathfinder. Sure, they opened up everything. Sure, they're their third party, but the intellectual capital of the Pathfinder world was always centered on Paizo and never moved away. So that's why you got the dead effect system there, despite the fact that Pathfinder 1E is open content, because when Pazio said, "Hey, we're going to move to 2E," everybody just followed along. But that's not. But so the key to 5E survival is whether there's enough 5E vendor to keep it a living system.
Here's the thing.
I think the jury is out on that.
Well, that goes. I mean, we'll never agree on the thing that we're arguing about here. It's pretty clear we've been arguing for 45 fucking minutes, never agree. But let me scroll up a little bit. Blood DM, I think that's how you see it. Not Blue DM, Blood DM. Here it is. If D&D 5.5, whatever, and VTT and all fails, Hasbro will sell it off. Let's think about that. What will happen? Let's just say it's 3 years into this thing. It's a catastrophic failure. Do they sell it? Do they license it? What's your predictions on that?
License it. I can see that. They believe the D&D brand is got money coming out of its wazoo in many different directions, and tabletop is not the main income source of that. So I don't see them giving up D&D and selling it off unless they sell off all of WotC, which there's been pushes to spin off WotC. But I can see them doing what, has been done with Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and Warhammer 40K Roleplay, where you license it out to Cubicle 7 or somebody else and let somebody else play with the IP. They've been doing that for Warhammer 2nd edition was Gene Ronan, I believe, actually published the books. So
Yeah,
they've
that
been
sounds
doing
right.
this for decades, and they're a very successful company. I don't play miniature wargaming, but they are a very profitable company in doing what they're doing, and they keep that aspect of it alive, and probably bringing in people to their wargaming aspect by keeping the tabletop RPG alive and not having to do anything other than take their licensing fees.
Well, Dietis and Pugly are both saying something similar there. Dietis is saying, on the contrary, we could see them doing a 6E and recreate the success of 5E versus 4th. And Fugly saying if they fail to shift to tabletop again and call it an innovation, tabletop would definitely be less money invested because you're not keeping up this fucking massive VTT. And the VTT could just sit in there and be evergreen and it'll be updated again, like some of the old MMOs. You know, we could just sit there and just, but yeah, they might do a new pen and paper. Oh, we're bringing back you guys what you want, and you know, blah blah blah.
Or we get the darkest timeline, in which case they're forced to sell off Wizard, and the new owners of Wizards of the Coast are they don't care about the
Blackstone?
the current whatever Blackstone. I'm not sure who they are, but let's just say they're evil capitalists, you know, of the worst stripe. And they start sending out cease and desist, even though, you know, in theory you could fight it, in theory you could win, but since all of us are small putts, you know, we can't fight it. So there is a darkest timeline in all this, but like you know, Syed has said, they could pull a 5E versus 4E and return to tabletop in force, and you know, and everybody's happy again.
I don't think that they're going to do that, but I would say, Joe, as an answer to your question, they've already. I was watching an old episode of Black Lodge Games podcast the other day, and they were reacting to the absolutely horrific ad with the singing anime guy with the cat ears. Remember that horrible ad?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Eric, you got to remember that where it had the guy who was singing about teaching D&D to your friends, and he had the horrible. It was like anime.
This sounds horrible. I don't even know what the hell.
It is horrible. Eric made a whole video about it. He's going to remember what. Yes,
Eric, did I?
Yes. And I'll find it right now. Well,
yeah, I gotta see this thing, man. I gotta see this shit.
But yeah, they're gonna keep. Yeah, I know. You know.
Can we watch it? Is it gonna fuck copyright?
I think I think I don't care if I suffer copyright. I don't care, God damn it!
Joe, you know that quote, you know, like picture a boot stepping on a human face forever. Picture this for this video about how it's going to go in this direction.
All right,
can we listen?
I'm putting up the volume.
Of the coast.
So what do you say? Interested? I don't know. I'll think about it and I'll get back to you. Oh, okay. Well, no worries. We can talk about it later.
So you want to game with your friends?
Oh, now I remember.
They are all new and have trouble playing pretend. It all seems so hard to be in the right cards just to play. But
this is the future of D&D.
Is not lost.
All right, so I want to know why somebody's singing with the male voice.
Is that a girl or is that a guy? What is that? I can't even fucking tell.
In their hair, but in any case,
that's a guy.
Despite how it seems, there is very little cost. In fact, it's quite painless, in some ways even brainless. And so I will teach you today.
By the way, telling you that it's brainless tells you what they think about.
Yep.
Yeah, the players.
First,
I think we're scarring people.
Your friends together, and yes, you have them. Pique their interest, and then you grab them. Show them live plays, or front short clips, or even the D&D movies. Set a time to start playing.
What's that, Rob?
They're using a Broadway tone.
I know it's hard. This is what I'm saying. This is the future.
Listen, Suck it up, Buttercup. It's only another minute and 20 seconds.
Oh my
Weekly
God.
make some characters that uniquely fit their fantasy, or dumb memes, or something completely left field but groovy. Tell them it's their chance to star in their own series where they can do anything.
Oh my God.
Save the
What the
world
fuck?
or be the villain. Use an imagination. You can.
I gotta go grab a beer and punch somebody in the face
Sounds
just to
fun
feel
and
like a
everything,
man
But I have a few concerns.
after watching this shit.
I can't voice act or sing good songs.
I can't voice act or sing good, as they've proven so far in this video.
Embrace the bad. It's fun as heck.
I'm scared I might get rules all wrong.
Just make some up, or you can check.
But who will be the dungeon master?
Who knows the most, or the bravest friend?
But
It'd
what
be
if
funny
it
if
all
this
ends
is
in
the thing that got us
disaster?
Learn from
1,000
mistakes
views.
and try.
Was that
What?
Rob?
Wouldn't this be the shit if this get the thing that got us 1,000 views?
Oh, the best live ever.
Try again! Grab pen and paper and starting rule set, and that's all you will need to start that.
Yeah, they're dancing away here.
If I had cars
You actually
and
can't
wheels
see him.
around,
He's
sure.
dancing.
Like fantasy, then do sci-fi. Any setting can take its place.
There he is.
Homebrew
There he is, dancing away in the corner.
Tailor your grand adventure. D&D is
Why are
so
you
much
shaking like
more
that?
than how you start or how it ends.
You
Print
rob
some
with the finger.
sheets and grab some dice, then go and grab your friends.
What am I?
I'm telling you,
You know what? I actually do want to give it a try.
What?
Yeah!
They paid good money for this.
yes,
I-
they paid a lot of money for this. And here's
Oh my God!
Stuart,
I feel
Stuart
like somebody
Robertson-
was injecting me with estrogen after watching that shit. What the fuck
And
was
this
that?
was 4E.
No, this was a year ago,
This was a year ago.
just a year ago.
Oh,
so-
they're doomed.
Yeah,
One
so
year
here's
ago,
the thing.
but 1.4 million views.
Yeah, so
Jesus
And
Stuart
it's
Robertson.
sponsored by Wizards of the Coast, by the way.
Stuart Robertson made a post in the OSR game group within the past week sometime where he talked
Oh.
about how they have these rules for being monetized or demonetized for advertising, and it has it reads like a list of everything you would want to do in D&D: violence, theft, deception, a whole bunch of things that will get you demonetized. He's like, this is why they're moving to everything being purple and pink, and you've got people looking like that, like in that video with the big purple hair and all this shit. It's exactly, yeah.
Nice, nice.
This is what they're headed towards.
I'm just gonna wait until Greg finished. But why the hell do you have my picture up?
Because of that. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
I agree with everyone in the chat. This is absolutely horrible ass trash, but it is exactly what they're going to do. I mark my words. This is the future of D&D.
The future is now. Now is your future.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
my God! Oh,
That was
my-
terrible.
I once it started up, I went, oh my God! I remember now. I blocked it out. And
Jesus
then I was like,
Christ.
oh my God!
The scary thing will be when you try to go to bed tonight, folks,
So here's the thing.
and you can't get the song out of your head.
If,
You're
if
welcome.
if you read the word, they're okay. They're true about role playing game, but the execution. Oh my God, the execution.
I
The
know.
execution should be executed.
It is horrific. I cannot believe anybody greenlit that, but they did.
They purple lit it, Greg.
That's
They didn't
right.
green light it. They purple lit it.
All right, so we need a
What the
cartoon that gets
fuck?
people to want to play D&D. Oh, like you mean the original D&D cartoon? No. No. Too violent and no, can't do that. But we need. I know what we need. We need Broadway. We need
show
we need-
tunes.
we need a guy with a bow in his hair and a woman with cat ears, and we. I
Using
you know
a
what?
song that they did they parodied in Young Frankenstein.
Yep, but like this, I forget who's saying it in the chat. I go up and look, but he is very, Blue DM. He's super popular. This Joe Cat dude. Yeah, like it's a thing. Like that's what I'm saying.
Jesus.
They think they can make more money doing this than appealing to to us. There was a thing that went around on Twitter this week about how some big publishing house made a tweet about how why don't men read more books? Well, the problem is they're only greenlighting books that are for women. So
chick books.
the men are going to online sources.
Yeah.
Men are reading. They're just not reading their books, and that's the thing. That they're making this stuff so it's not for us. They've done this to Marvel. They've done this to Disney. This is not like mystery about what they're doing.
Dude, Ray Feist's Mechania books, if released today, would flop because there's no female as the main 8 characters.
Oh, come on, let's not get into culture wars.
I'm telling you, it's true.
I don't want to talk. Let's talk about gaming, okay?
I'm telling you, bro. This is what's happening to D&D.
Well, Greg, as we both noted earlier, we have the power to come out with the games the way we want in the forms we want, and that should be our answer to the question.
That is my answer. Joe asked for predictions.
Yeah, I predict failure.
This is what I predict.
But
my prediction is all of the above.
All right, so I'm looking at the
how specific, Rob.
So what I find interesting is that they talk about. They give credits at the back at the end for 4 people, and Joe Cat gets animation, music, lyrics, and backgrounds. Echo Gillette, animation help and emotional support. Caitlin McNeely, storyboarding and character design. Tavern Cat Records, music composition, audio help. Who is not credited? Whoever sang that fucking song.
Really?
Yeah.
Not one of those 4 where the people.
Doesn't say.
It's Joe Cat, right?
Well, Joe Cat, animation, lyrics, backgrounds.
So Joe Cat isn't a character actor or something?
I thought that was the voice of that Joe Cat.
I have no idea.
Well, actually, Joe Cat is apparently the main character.
Hey, I sang it, Fugly says.
If it was from a year ago, it's certainly possible.
In any case, oh my God, nobody wants to actually take credit for the vocals.
Eric, I think you should auction off that shirt at ShireCon, dude.
No. That's my kitty.
Yeah, is it really?
Cat.
Oh, it's not just a generic weird ass cat Hawaiian shirt mashup.
No, that's my cat staring at you, going.
Oh, okay. All right. Didn't know that.
Yeah, no.
Damn, man. Jesus
That's the
Christ.
cat. That's the look of the cat that chose me and Rachel 4 years ago. It's like, fuck you. I'm coming in.
And it was right at the end when the other cat passed, wasn't it? It was like the next day or something.
The next day.
Yeah.
I'm walking in.
Oh, that's fate right there.
I know. Walked right into your house and said, I'm living here now, bitch.
So 10 years ago, we had a different batch of cat, and we had a black cat named
Whitey.
I'm making sure we had several black cats, but black cat named Velcro, and Velcro arrived first, and then shortly afterwards, we had a black cat arrived in our yard. He didn't in a house, but he became very friendly with my wife and my oldest son, and he liked hanging around. And soon he was trying to get into the house, but he could have fleas, he could have ticks, so we didn't let him in the house at first. We were planning to, and we got so used to his position, we weren't really watching what he's doing. So one day, Kellyanne was in the kitchen, and she walked in, and all the cats were hovered around where we keep the cat litter, the room that we keep the cat litter in, the small bathroom off the kitchen. And she's like, what's going on? And she saw a black cat walk out. Says, oh, that must be Velcro. And then she saw another black cat come out, and the other cat scattered. And it turns out he just walked in. He was in the house for hours and just making his own. And he looked at her, said, yeah, what do you make? Make something of it. I'm here.
Done.
So cats are.
Yeah, we fed this cat starting July. July is when she first saw in the back, and then November it was starting to get cold. And like, oh, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this cat inside. And she's like, oh yeah, I figured it out. Quiet your back door in the rain. Wait till you open the door and walk right into the house. It's like shit. Carrying case, cat food in the case. We got to get her checked real quick. So yeah.
I'm allergic to cats, but they always kind of like look at me like they're going to kill me, so I don't trust them. There's something about them. They don't like me. I don't like them. We each know that we are disliking each other, and that's that.
Well, don't discount that some people are just inherently untrustworthy.
Well, cats.
No, people. I mean,
Oh.
the cat might be onto something.
But no, they always say to me, dude. I remember I was at a college girlfriend's house, staying there on a New Year's Eve thing, and I'm on the couch, and these people had 7 cats, and I'm allergic as shit to cats, so I am dying 100 deaths laying on this couch. I had my head arched back just so that I wouldn't like the post nasal would go down instead of on my face, and I'm like, I just want to sleep. I'm half drunk and I'm exhausted, and I finally felt myself like going to sleep. And my eyes were kind of partially open a little bit, and I see this shadow in the air coming right at my face. This fucking cat was at the bottom of the couch where my feet were, launched itself towards my face. I instinctively, my right arm swung around under the blanket, smacked the cat like a baseball player all the way across the room. It hit the Venetian blinds. It was like, all the way down the fucking blinds. The whole house wakes up. What was that? Nothing. Everything's okay. I just tripped. Everything. Nothing to see here. The cat never came back. They hate me. They all hate me.
No. They know that you don't like them, so that entices them. Like, oh wait, you look a little nervous. Well, I'll prove you wrong. Oh shit.
Yeah. No, I just smacked that thing across the room like Babe fucking Ruth, man. It was like midair. Boom.
It sounds to me like justifiable fear.
Dude, it jumped at me onto my. If I didn't move, it would hit me in the face.
Hey, it's a little change. Well, I wouldn't say change in topic, but
we're off cats.
No, well, first of all, I just want to say, hey, Tim, if you want to body check us and what we're saying, get your ass online.
Yeah, Tim's shooting sniper shots
quit
out
talking
there.
smack in the in the chat.
Yeah,
but as far as what I wanted
to say,
as
Matt, but he's getting there.
What I wanted to show you is when we're talking about. Why can't
you got that old picture, Rob? You want to bring out that you showed us earlier?
I may bring that out, but there we go. So I was browsing the different categories on Drive-Thru-RPG, and I noticed something interesting when you click on D&D. And I'm not talking the subcategories of D&D, the main D&D category. If you look, we have proactive role playing. We have the Halls of Art and Vor. We have My How to Make a Sandbox. And we have this Labyrinth Lord Old School Essentials product, along with some others here. I mean, how bad D&D sales got to be because for OSR products to populate this list. And if you notice, I am number 7 on this list. If I go and browse the OSR catalog.
I love Rob's humble brag. I'm trying to make a point, but by the way, I'm number 7, bitches.
No,
I have a lower.
Now. He has a lower ranking in OSR.
Yeah, so that means that Knave, Stars Without Number, their authors, Ben Milton, Kevin Crawford, didn't choose to list their product under the D&D content, but it probably means that they're outselling the D&D on the main D&D ones.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
Let me go change my product tags.
I'll be interested to see where you popped up.
Yeah. Greg's gonna be humble bragging in 2 weeks.
Just
notice something here.
But I thought that was interesting that all these OSR products are populating the top 10, top 20 list of hottest titles.
That is interesting, actually. And congrats on the finely edited book you're selling well there, Rob. Just congrats on that.
Yeah.
Despite the editing, it's doing
So,
great.
uh-huh.
Go
Oh,
figure.
shit. So,
Like I said, Tim, if you want to body check me, get your ass online.
well, it might ease your time of it, Tim, because Rob lost like a shit ton of weight. So you can probably knock him into the wall if you body check him now. Before much more of a challenge.
I've lost over 100 pounds.
It's
So
fucking A, Rob. Good for you,
Yeah.
man. What are you down to now, man?
375.
Nice. Did you hit a plateau-ish? Do you think, or I know the earlier weight loss
It
was
slowed down
significant.
because Monjaro is not readily available, and it's the one I lose the most weight on.
Okay.
I'm on Ozempic, which is good for my diabetic, but it's not so good on for weight loss.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And Rob, you're still on target for coming up that day early so we could hit New York City? Hit complete
Oh, wait a
strategist?
minute. I misspoke. I'm at 275.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. Yeah.
Yeah,
But you're still on track, Rob, to hit New York City a day early before ShireCon? You're doing that?
Yeah.
All right.
Dan talked about it, and yeah.
Good. Eric, you good for that? It'll be that Thursday before ShireCon, Eric.
What day?
ShireCon is Friday, so I don't know what day you're going up there. You know what I mean? But I finally got Rob to go to Complete Strategist here.
Oh, we're going up.
I've been to Complete Strategist.
Yeah, but not recently. Not with us, too.
I think we're going up Friday. So
you're going up Friday, yeah. So Thursday night, then Well, I figured, Eric, Rob, you'll get here Wednesday night, and then we'll head up early Thursday morning. Hit New York City late morning, and then we'll do our routine. That'll be good. Oh, Eric, did you reach out to the normal peeps about maybe doing something in August before school starts again?
Well, the one normal peep is was sick and is now at Gen Con. We're going to be at Gen Con, so I'm trying to track people down after Gen Con.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not.
They're not paying attention at this point. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That'd be nice to make so much money that you could probably write Gen Con off and everything associated with it as a fucking business expense, huh?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That'd be pretty good, man. If you could pay for every convention and everything related to it with your sales, and if you come out even, it's a net win for me. You know what I mean? That's not bad.
Yeah, so I'm looking into getting Stripe, so I can have a device to swipe credit cards.
Good.
It looks fairly. I'm a little nervous about it because I haven't done it before, but it looks fairly straightforward. So hopefully I don't know. I have to talk to Tom. I haven't put in for a vendor's table, and I don't know how I'm going to man one either because.
Well, look, remember what Jeff Talanian and especially Joe Block did last year, Rob. I know it's a different venue, but they had their shit on the stage and they had tables right in front where they could run their games. And if someone came up to their booth, it was a one-man operation. They would just, hey, give me a second. They were up there and take the charge and buy the book, and then they come back to run the game. So if you could do something like that with the table near where you're selling your shit, that's an ideal situation.
Okay. I'll talk to Tom about it then.
Yeah. Joe Block actually stopped the game we were in to sell something to a guy, Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That works. It works good. Yeah. And
the only bad piece of news I have about the con is I'm rerunning one of the modules I ran 2 years ago. So
that's all right.
if people were expecting to sign up for 2 sessions to get something new, that's not
you
going to be
running
one new to the con module.
You running anything, Eric? You going to do anything?
Yeah, I'm running one game.
What day or what time?
I have no idea.
I did Friday night last time.
I asked for a day, that Friday or Saturday day.
Yeah.
I don't know what Tom gave me.
Well, what's the agenda? Is it just Friday night, or do they have Friday day now as well? Is it a full 2-day game?
It's Friday afternoon.
Uh-huh.
No morning session. That's why.
No morning. How about an evening session on Friday?
It's Friday afternoon and evening, and Saturday. So 2 sessions Friday, 3 sessions Saturday.
I thought it was 3 on Saturdays, wasn't it? Then
3 Saturday, 3 Saturday, and 2 on Friday.
Gotcha. He's 1 session away from having a 2-day con. Jesus. You know what I mean? Just add Friday morning. God damn, man. You're going to be there anyway.
I think if you're going to add Friday morning, you've got to have an actual venue that has lodging.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You start hitting that point. You can't, once you start doing that, because with the Friday morning open, I can drive up Friday morning and get there in time to run a game. after my game, check into my bread and breakfast or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, and you can do that. But when it's 2 full days, now that means you got to come up on third. If you're going to do that, you want to be at a hotel. You
I
know?
agree. I actually agree with that totally. I mean, he's got, and I have. Let me see here. Let me see if I could show you this. Just to give it a rough idea. Let me present my screen. Turn off all the porn sites first. Good. Okay, here comes all the screen. Yeah. So this is now just so you guys know what we're talking about. The con is, I think you see my cursor, is way the fuck up here in the Litchfield Northwest section, right? I know, he lives in that general area, so he wants the con up there. But as you can tell from the map, they ain't shit up there. We're on the New York-Massachusetts border, essentially. We're up in the Canaan area there, right? It doesn't get much further. I mean, my brother went for a hike a couple of years ago, and he ended up in Massachusetts. He's like, the hell? Across the border of the state, but there's not much up there. Now, if you scroll all the way down here.
There are some decent bike trails that Kelly.
Oh, yeah. They're nice, but they're not enough. My main point is this whole quadrant, these towns are tiny. There's not much. I'm speaking as a Connecticut person, not much up here. Now, you do not want to go to Waterbury unless you're going fully armed to the teeth. All right, you don't want to go there. It's not a good place. Hartford is too far afield, but it would have to be a central location, but it'd be a lot more costly. The best thing I could think of for people who were driving in from New York, from Jersey, all the down south, is Danbury, right? Eric, you have connections to Danbury. That's a good town. It's a good sized city.
Bad, yeah.
It's a good sized city. You could have there's a lot of hotels there. There's a semi-major state university there, Western Connecticut State. It's a good place. You could have a nice setup there in Danbury, and it's not that much further away. It's about a half an hour from where he's at. He'd have to commute home every day, but he could grow this thing because he's hitting max capacity for what he could do in these small venues. What's he got? 250 people at max now, or something like that last time.
Maxes, but
yeah,
again,
I mean,
when you can't stay at when your venue and your hotel are different locations.
Yes,
it also puts the added issue of people can't partake in adult beverages without having a designated driver. And other issues when you can find a hotel, even a small hotel that has a small conference area.
Yeah,
I'd be able to do it. But
yeah, I agree. And Danbury's got that location. Like I said, you could go to Hartford. I mean, if you're looking equidistance, yes, Hartford is far afield, but Hartford, you're paying big state capital, right? You're paying big hotel rates. You're not, you know what I mean? You want something smaller, like, North Texas has 500 something people who show up in North Texas, I think. And Connecticut, this thing, ShireCon could be the North Texas to the Northeast if he just got a fucking hotel, but it means changing location.
It would mean changing location, and you would probably have to do a 3-day convention. So
Agreed.
This video brought to you by the Connecticut Tourism Board.
Oh, I know, yeah, exactly.
Visit Connecticut today.
Yep.
We're not just a client.
So has Don ever hosted a Wizards Con? Is this the first one or the second one, or what?
It's going to be the first one. The initial one, his issue was he didn't do it at a hotel. He was doing it at a convention area. And here's the thing: if you're doing it at a hotel, hotels are used to getting email and voicemail campaigns against anybody and everybody. North Texas got it one year.
What? What do you mean? What?
North Texas got an email campaign against it with the hotel. You're having a convention that allows firearms on the location. I can't go to a place like that. And it was a huge thing.
Oh, God, really?
They thought. The hotel's response was, "This is Texas."
Yeah.
There are firearms everywhere.
Texas motherfucker.
Basically, go blow, because hotels make their money on these conventions and events that bring people in, guaranteed room sales. Hotels don't get bad, Mike. Hotels don't care if people are complaining about your con. A venue is highly sensitive to this. A hotel goes, "Hey, did your money clear? All right, you're good."
Yeah,
that's what it is. So now it's being held at a hotel. I'm not sure if it was in Battle Creek or I don't know Michigan, Kalamazoo. Who knows?
I think it's Kalamazoo. That's that. I'm going to be a guest of honor there.
That's what you should be.
Well, thank you, Eric.
You'll be up there with Tim Kask, Humble Me, and a few others, I believe. This is Texas. There you go.
It's funny. I was like, I wonder if somebody did this. Of course, somebody did that. I just Googled it real fast. Yeah, you talk to more than I do.
Well, so she'll be looking for bike trails up there.
Yeah. But I mean, you do this more than I do, Eric. Talk to these guys. Is there any talk with Tom to, eventually do this, grow it, make it bigger, hit a hotel, do something like that, or no?
I know that Tom likes the area. He likes the idea of ShireCon kind of being in the Shire.
In the Shire, yeah.
But hey, listen, talk to Tom. You Connecticut people got a bond. Talk to Tom when you see him.
Yeah.
And listen, your points are valid, and it would simplify things for a lot of people as opposed to having. Like last year, I actually had an Airbnb. People were great.
Yeah.
It was 2 bedrooms, so we had Tom and Tammy Veralt with us.
Mm-hmm.
But and in theory, if I was getting drunk, I could have walked back to the house. It was like 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah,
stumbling walking distance, which
that's a stumble, fall, get up again. Yeah.
I get it. but still theoretically walking distance. But I think that if you want to grow the con, to the point where I don't know 350 people, you need a venue that has lodging on site.
I live an hour away from this basically, right? And I'm driving up there each day, but it does put a crimp in my style. As you can understand, I'm not going to drink and drive, right? I'm not a jackass. So I'm not going to kill somebody or myself, right? I'm not going to do a couple drinks, but I'm making sure I'm not anywhere near a cat. I'll hit a cat. I'll kill them. Yeah. But I'm not. But my point is, if I'll drive an hour each way each day, no big deal. But if there was a hotel I could stay at and the con was downstairs, like North Texas, I would book a fucking room, even though I only live an hour away, just for the convenience of sleeping in, walking downstairs, not making breakfast, having something from the place, like you say, hanging out afterwards till all hours, bullshit. Because that's the best part of North Texas and the bigger cons is you're at the bar till 1 a.m. talking with everybody you just played games with and meeting luminaries of the hobby. Whereas, with this, you're like, fuck, I got to leave at 9 to be home by 10 so I can be in bed by 11 so I can get up at 6 so I can get here by 8. It's like you're not doing that. You're not having that experience, Yeah.
True. Well, I think we're at the witching hour.
There we are. We are 10 hours, 10 o'clock, and yeah. And
10 o'clock and all's well.
All is well. Rob and Greg are at odds again. So yes, all is well, as Tim said before.
I'm not at odds with Rob. What are you talking about?
We've
realigned the stars were misaligned, but we've realigned the misaligned. This was a good one. This was a good. I will say so myself. This was a good show.
I was happy that we could bring Joe Cat back into the D&D conversation.
I would have been happier if I never saw that fucking video.
Yes, come on. Joe's gonna be doing videos about this now.
You gotta keep the stakes fresh, Joe. It reminds you of how fucking different these people are from us in perspective at Wizards of the Coast. Like they do not see things the same way.
I know. How they look at it as a bunch of morons, right? And stupid, gullible assholes. But hey, you talk about videos.
They always looked at it as a bunch of morons.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not Gygax. I mean, Gygax is more of a peer.
No, I meant corporations like Hasbro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They always. How much money can I shake?
Yeah.
Let me hold you upside down and shake you a bit.
I mean, the Pathfinder folks back in the day did not look at the gamers as assholes and gullible rubes. They were just, fellow gamers. And so I think Gygax under DSR did as well. But yeah, the corporatization and all that. But mentioning the videos, Eric, the next video, Rob, you'll be interested in this. I was looking back at my old Anchor video, my Anchor podcasts, right? So I had 70, 80 of those things. Those are my pre-YouTube shit. Right. And I was like, I wonder if I could just there's stuff here that was really fun. Some of the stuff we did. And I was just going through it. And first of all, I couldn't log into Anchor again because Spotify took it over. I've not done that merger. I had to like set up a like Spotify Anchor merge account or some shit. And now I can finally access all those things and download them if I wanted to. But to Rob, I don't know if you remember this. I did an interview with you and Tim like 5 years ago, or 4 or 5 years ago. And I didn't know you from Adam at the time. I just knew that you're a guy with a blog who played with Tim. And I have not listened to that interview since then. And I'm going to listen to it tomorrow. It's about an hour and a half, and I'm going to go through it and make sure it's, times were different 5 years ago where you could or could not say certain shit without getting canceled. I'm going to go back, listen to it, and if it's all good, I'm going to repost it on my fucking YouTube channel. I might get some old Joe and Bro fireside chats from that too. It's good. It's going to be interesting.
Churn and burn, yeah.
Churn and burn. Not only that, it's an interesting perspective. I can't wait to hear the interview where I don't know Rob at all. I don't know shit about him. And all I knew was like, Tim, you played with this guy, Rob. Maybe a joint interview, because Eric is the one who told me, hey, Joe, I think you'd be good at interviews. So I'm like,
I would be interested in that.
I'd be
Thanks
too,
for
yeah.
finding it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So it's there. It's on. You could get it on Spotify. I'm going to download it tomorrow.
5 years ago, that was before the Judges Guild shut.
It was before COVID. I mean, yeah, it was a whole thing.
Foodie said post it with Joe Cat images.
Joe Cat images. I don't even know what the hell Joe Cat is.
That video, that's the Joe Cat channel.
But that was Joe Cat. That's a character. That's a.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The guy with the bow in his head.
That was a guy. Okay. Yeah. All right.
The
but
voice
that's
of the guy.
So
Listen,
Joe Cat.
I don't know how they identify. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You don't want to misgender them, Eric. They them.
I linked the video. It's in the chat. If you want to go see it on your own, you can binge watch it, folks. You can put that on autoplay.
Yeah, just hide the razor blades before you do.
You can
all right.
Save it to your phone as an alarm in the morning.
Oh, good God!
So it could start your day every day, Joe.
So when my last 6 months at work, when I was working the desk, and I knew my time was limited. I don't know if anybody else has ever watched, and don't be offended by the language because it's the name of the channel, The Retarded Policeman.
Was that your old YouTube show?
No. One of whom has Down syndrome, and this is a big channel, at least it was back in the day, and one of the songs, the theme song was "He is a Cop." And he's learning impaired. He's the retarded policeman. That's me. That was my ringtone on my phone. So I'd be there talking to a detective. He goes, "He is the cop that's learning impaired. He's the retarded." Come on.
My God.
Little Joe Cat to wake up. Come on.
That's excellent.
I knew I was leaving. What were they going to say to me? I knew I was retiring. What are you going to do? Write me up? I'll take my first write-up. Thank you very much.
I think you should have done like in NYPD Blue, where the guy had the
syphilis.
Yes, where he had the parrot, and he taught the parrot to say, "Hey, douchebag." You should have like left something like that where it would go off occasionally and be like,
"Do you remember when ringtones were a thing? Now we all have the same old-fashioned ring on our cell phones.
Yeah.
But you remember when ringtones were all the rage and people are going to make money off of ringtones and this and that,
Make your own ringtone.
They are still a thing, Joe. It's just not like the hottest thing.
Yeah.
I know because Kellyanne has a cat meow for her. So every time her phone goes off, I think there's a cat in the damn workshop.
Well, my brother has one for his wife. It's the dun 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 dun.
That's my wife's for me.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. On that note, now that all the wives are going to beat up their husbands,
not on silent, it would I would hear it more often, but it's always on silent.
All right.
Shit.
All right, folks. On that note, by the way, this was my 3rd straight day of live streaming. Tomorrow marks number 4.
Damn.
Saturday.
Wait a minute. You had a Thursday live stream?
Yeah.
I live streamed on Wednesday. I did a live stream last night with Tom and Don that was also signed.
That went on forever.
It's still going on, apparently.
Didn't end it. We had tonight's live stream. I got tomorrow night's live stream with Rachel,
Yeah.
the Game of Hope,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then a very special inappropriate characters.
You're doing that.
I'm doing it with the pundit and Wenger.
That's
And
Sunday night?
Oh,
That's
you're
Sunday
going to
night.
have the pundit on?
No,
Oh.
he's on the
The
pundit
pundit's
show.
going to be on. I'll be on the pundit show.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. This is going to be nuclear grade.
I am when I have a link, I will make sure. Listen, heads will explode. All right, and not mine. Nobody online, but there are heads that were going to explode.
I
People are
know.
gonna go, I always know it.
Oh, yeah. The alliance is there in the background. Eric, you can be accused of being you and pundit all along deep state allies.
Listen, my favorite quote from any inappropriate characters episode, and I've watched more than my share, was back when Grim Jim was still on as the third chair. And Grim Jim's comment about me was, and I can't do Grim's accent. I love it. But Tenkar is so neutral, it's pathological.
Wow.
Interesting.
I
At
was
least
like,
you
I
understood.
like it.
Yeah, that's good.
I've been told
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
a shirt that says that.
Yeah.
So neutral, I'm pathological.
Oh,
I
Flint,
was
good-
on T-shirt at Historians podcast with Grim Jim like a week and a half ago.
shit.
I love Grim. He's
He's an interesting dude. I don't know him at all, obviously, but his shows are interesting. But Flint, good point there.
Me and Eric go way back with him all the way to the Google Plus days and all that stuff.
Yeah. You were involved in all that stuff back then. But Flint, Shadow Dark on Monday. We have been live streaming Tim, and Tim has been running session zeros for all of us, right? So he had me the other day. It was a live stream. He had Flint and oh Jesus, who'd you play with, Flint? Was it who the hell was it?
Ken.
Oh, was it Ken? Okay, I wasn't sure it was Vance or Ken, but that's what that means. Vance had his own separate one. So yeah, so we all had session zeros in there, and so we're all ready to. Tim did not kill us on session zero, though we came close. But so we're playing our first session. They're starting at first level, Shadow Dark, and it's going to be a long campaign. So we get into it. Should be a fun time.
It could be a long game.
Well, I mean, it's just Tim's game after all. It will be a long campaign, but there'll be at least 9 PCs per player throughout the duration of this campaign because he's going to kill us all. You don't, like I said in the chat the other day, you do not ever leave Tim's game feeling like you haven't stained your soul in some way.
Well, Joe, I know you don't buy my stuff, but
Tim, you sell stuff?
Tim can give you a copy of the player companion. There's 36 classes, so you can just go right through them one by one.
Test them out. I can truly give it a kick the tires test for you, Greg.
Yeah, Beastmaster, Valkyrie, Swashbuckler. You can just churn and burn, man. Just go down in flames.
Tim's pretty open to letting us play whatever characters or classes or fuck with the characteristics we want. And I'm like, yeah, you're merciful like that because you're going to kill us before we hit second level anyway. So what difference does it make that we're uber at first level, you motherfucker? Yeah, no, it should be fun though. It should be good. Tim's getting his, he hasn't DM'd online or at all in like almost 2 years, and he's got his feet under him again, I think. So he's ready to go. He's going to tear it up. So it should be a good time. So that's every Monday. We're going to be doing that for a long time. So It should be good. Yeah. It should be a fun time. Yep. And you guys good for me for Tuesday for the game?
I'm still in.
Okay. Yeah, next Tuesday.
It will be my actual birthday.
Happy birthday in advance.
I can
Happy
get a dispensation to.
All right. Yeah, it's your birthday. You can demand whatever you want. That's your birthday.
Oh. I'll be getting my birthday shirt.
Yes. Yeah. You got to have another shirt, a birthday shirt. Yeah.
No.
Oh God, please.
All right, folks. On that note, we're a little bit punch drunk. No. Thank you to the party, the random party generator, the random party that showed up. No, Tim. We don't even talk about Matt anymore because Matt is.
Wait a minute. We don't talk about Matt.
We don't
I
talk
said
about
Not
Matt.
on the stream as much. We occasionally we make a ladder joke or an old man joke, but
Yeah.
he's off. He's in love.
There's no.
He's in love.
Yep.
It's an old Ocean Blue song. And it goes, Was it I'm in love, she's in love, we're both in love for real. Oh, it's
For reals.
for
And
real.
yep. And one last
All
plea
right.
to your 12 people here. Please unsubscribe from Eric and subscribe to me so I beat his ass in subscriptions. Thank you very much, folks. As I scroll it across the
Ever a
bottom.
true friend, Joe.
Always, always.
Just remember, guys, that the FBI investigates all subscribers to Joe the Lawyer's channel, so exercise
Oh.
caution.
I gained
I need to unsub.
I gained 47 subs since Monday, just on like 4 videos. So I'm doing all right. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Keep it going. I keep grinding them out. And I'm gonna, like I said, if I could get some good old stuff from back in the day, from the old Anchor stuff, I could supplement, the content. But I got a lot of stuff coming, so it should be fun. I feel in the vibe again. You know what I mean? Like when I was beating Matt, like I need competition. This is friendly competition. This isn't,
Right.
But but I need the competition to do something. It makes me, gets the juices flowing creatively and all that, So it's fun. It's fun.
Okay,
Anywho.
folks. On
Later,
that
guys.
note, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll the dice, roll them well. More live streams, more better.
Use your common
Better.
sense, folks.
Amen.
No more common sense. We don't believe in common sense.
And don't wear cat shirts, please.
Good night.
Wear
folks.
all the cat shirts you can. God help us. All right,
Flint
folks.
wants you in your birthday suit, Eric.